Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews, and today we have potentially one of the most amazing models that you will have ever seen on my channel. We have a massive model, as we have a 1-to-1 scale Anchiornis, and this was created by Limelight Miniatures. Now, if you are unfamiliar with them, they recently had begun a Kickstarter, kind of promoting the fact that they are going to be releasing all kinds of really cool models. And of course, you can purchase these in the Kickstarter, but specifically, they're going to be releasing quite a few 1-to-1 scale creatures, different prehistoric creatures, one of which, as you can see, is this absolutely incredible Anchiornis. One thing, though, about mine is I had them actually ship it, because they already had one that was built already, and I had them ship it this way. Now, there is some major dangers to shipping things like this that's on a base and, like glued to the base and everything. And unfortunately, mine did acquire a little bit of damage because of shipping. If you do take part in the Kickstarter, of course, and you do order your own, it will come unassembled, so that won't be an issue. You don't have to worry about any kind of damage. But I do want to state that in case you see the cracks and stuff, that is because I had them ship it assembled like this, and it was glued already, and that's just a risky idea to do that. Sometimes it works out okay. The Postal Service, though, isn't the kindest when it comes to the packaging, so I'm going to try to fix that up, of course, when we actually check this out and, I fully finish it and everything. But you can see, again, it is absolutely incredible. Talk about a presence. This is definitely one of those centerpiece collectibles for sure, being 1-to-1 scale. It's hard to find anything more impressive than this, I would say. And on top of that, the actual sculpt is incredible. Like, it has some of the most beautiful detail that I think I've ever seen on a dinosaur model, and of course just stands out so nicely. I'm actually over the moon excited about getting some paintwork on this and checking it out and seeing what it looks like fully finished. I don't have very many 1-to-1 scale dinosaurs in my collection. I think I probably have 2 at this point, maybe. I think around 2. And this would now be my 3rd. If I'm remembering correctly, I have a horrible memory, so could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure this would be my 3rd, and I definitely don't even have a model of this species at all, so to immediately be introduced to this species as far as my collection goes with a 1-to-1 scale version is pretty darn cool. But, of course, what we're going to do is we're going to take a closer look at it, and then we'll get it painted up. So let's jump to that closer look right now. So starting up here at the head sculpt of our Ankiornis, you can straight away see the detail that I was speaking of and how good it looks. It is exceptionally vibrant on the model. Really nice feather detail there in the face. You can also see the eyes are sculpted out, as is the beak. You can see the mouth is sculpted in an open position. It's going to be actually a little hard to get this close to the camera because the base is sort of in the way. So maybe having them send this assembled wasn't the best idea. Obviously, I'm realizing that with the small break that we have on the model, but also because the base is kind of getting in the way of the camera. But you can see, again, the mouth is sculpted in an open position. You have the tongue there kind of extended up and obviously showing some sort of a vocalization is occurring with our Anchiornis. And you can also see the teeth are sculpted very nicely there on the inside of the mouth. You've got the nostrils and everything. And we have those feathers up there on the top of the head that look really nice. That almost kind of a crest that it has going on, looking really cool. As you move down, you've got some nice kind of tensing and musculature sort of displayed there in the neck of the dinosaur. You can also see the feather detail there looks really nice, and you can see again just so much difference to the feather detail, just showing how lifelike the model is as a whole. You can also see here on the underside we've got the throat sculpted out, and if we continue to move down along the underside, you can take notice to the chest and everything, and wow, look at how beautiful that looks from every angle. No matter where you look at it, it is just magnificent. You can see the legs there. You can also see how muscular those legs are right there from the front. You can kind of take notice to the muscle definition of the legs. And then if we come up here to the top of our Anchiornis, you can also kind of take notice to some muscle definition up here in the back, again showing that even though it's a small dinosaur, it's definitely got some strength to it. But you can see again the feather detail looks excellent up here, kind of finer feathering running along the course of the body of the Anchiornis. And then as we lead out here into the wings, you can very clearly see that those feathers pick up and increase in size. We still have some kind of almost emu-like looking feathers up here running along the top of the wing and arm as you lead out. But you can also see again that we have those really nice feathers down here as we move through, and look at the detail within them. And I love how, again, each and every feather is sculpted out in kind of like a slightly different position and just difference to each of the feathers, just showing you how impressive and how realistic of a sculpt you have on this Limelight Miniatures version, all the way out here to the end of the wing here, and you lead around and just want to really slowly move along just so you can kind of take in and absorb how good that detail is. Really incredible stuff. As you continue to move down here along the course of the body and you start to reach into the tail, you again see somewhat of a slightly different visual here for the feathers leading out into the tail. And then if we turn it here, get a better look here from up above, you can see how nice the plumage looks as you lead out into the tail. And again, you can see, look how different each and every feather is. Like, you can see feathers just kind of leading off in different positions and stuff. It's just so realistic the way that it's all sculpted out. And again, the detail is like massively popping on this sculpt. It is exceptionally vibrant, which is another huge plus. So that shows you that the print quality of these Limelight miniature models are really quite incredible. And if you lead down here, you can see one of the areas that we had a break in, so we'll go ahead and get that fixed again. That's, like I said, one of the hazards of shipping it when it's fully assembled, but if you order it, it would come unassembled, so no worries as far as that goes. But you can see the feathers leading off of the back of the leg, the really nice kind of lighter feathering running down the course of the leg, and you can see the feet, which he did mention he was a little heavy on the glue for, and you can see that. But you can see the feet are sculpted out, in a very nice position. One foot is kind of planted, one foot is kind of picking up off of the ground. And if we lead over here to the opposing side, you can again see pretty much the same thing. Same deal as far as the feathers leading off of the back of the leg, the nice muscle definition in the legs and everything. And pretty much every angle, again, shows how incredible this is. But you also have a really nice earthy sort of a base down here. You can see that we've got like some stones and stuff, and just a really nice earthy texture as you move along the course of the base. But on top of that, you also have a nice nameplate here right in the front, really giving this, again, that very strong museum feel, again, for our Anchiornis. And you can also see just, again, how impressive and how professional this is. So we are now at the point where we're going to go ahead and get some paint on this, and we'll watch this come straight to life, and we'll be right back. So this one definitely took some time to get finished considering how large it is, but here is my fully painted Anchiornis, and hopefully it turned out pretty decent. I tried to match it up as best I could to what we, believe the colors of this animal was, and you can see again, it looks pretty darn awesome once you get some paint work on it, considering again that it is a full-size, gotta move this back a little bit, a full-sized version of this creature. Like, it's very impressive just to look at how cool it is once it is actually painted. And I gave the entire thing kind of like a sort of a gloss coat to it. Not really a gloss coat, but just sort of like a spray over with a satin sort of a finish, just to kind of give it that, again, kind of shine that you would see on feathers. And I think it looks pretty cool because of that. And again, the sculpt is just so good. Like, it really does come to life once you throw a little paintwork on it and add some color to it. And again, this is one area I was a little unsure of, because I've actually seen, when you look at information on the Anchiornis and the coloration of it, you don't really see, or at least I couldn't really find a whole lot mentioned about the tail feathers and exactly what color they would be. I've seen different illustrations of it with the tail feathers given some white coloration, and I've seen it without it, where it's just black. So I wasn't entirely sure. I just gave it the white coloration as well, just so it kind of matched the rest of the model. But again, with paintwork on it, it is absolutely incredible. Like, a really, really cool, very impressive model. Again, 1-to-1 scale means it's going to be absolutely awesome. It's a little hard to really get good shots of it and everything to show you guys, but you can see the base looks really cool, again, with some paintwork on it. Definitely really nice as well. And then the title here on the front looks super cool. I added kind of like a little metallic paintwork to it to try to make that area shine and look very cool as well. But it's probably a little bit complicated to really show you guys, again, how it looks from this angle, just because it's, a little bit crowded up here and a little hard to really see it. But hopefully it looks pretty good. Again, I tried to paint it as best I could to what we see on the actual animal, or what we, again, know of the actual animal. And I haven't really painted too many feathered dinosaurs in the past, so I'm not all that great at it. But hopefully, again, you guys think it turned out pretty decent and did the model justice, because the sculpt itself is incredible. So now from kind of a side angle and, a bit further away, you can get a better look at the entire thing now that it's fully painted up. But once it's down here on the actual review station, I feel like the lighting just isn't the best to really give you an idea of how nice the paint job and everything looks. But I will take some pictures, of course, of it outside and everything, and put that at the end of the video to kind of show you again how cool it looks once it actually has some paintwork on it. But as far as the size goes, again, it is pretty darn huge. So as I kick the camera, for a length from the tail to the beak, you are looking at about 16.5 inches or 42 centimeters. For a height to the top of the head, about 9.25 inches or around 23, maybe 23.5 centimeters. And then for a wingspan, the wings aren't outstretched all that much, so it's probably not going to be too huge. You're looking at about 12.75 inches, maybe approaching 13, or about 32.5 centimeters, getting close to 33. And again, definitely very sizable. As far as the base goes, the base is a total circle, so we really only need to go one direction. You're looking at about 9.75 inches or around 25 centimeters, but it might not be perfect, actually. Let's go ahead right from the center of the... Okay, so there we go. We can definitely see it's about 10 inches or about 25.5 centimeters. And I apologize if I was a little close to the camera and I got a little bit loud, because I really had to stretch out there to grab a hold of that measurement. But as far as a size comparison goes, there is Mr. Papo T-Rex, the Attack Pack Golovosaurus, and Robert Muldoon from the Mattel Jurassic World toy line next to our absolutely incredible Anchiornis from Limelight Productions. And again, I really feel like this should give you a pretty good appreciation of how large this is. Again, being a 1-to-1 scale model, it's gonna be pretty darn big. And I feel like as we turn this here and the Golovosaurus goes for a little ride, it really helps to, again, show you how massive this model actually is. Then for another size comparison, we have the Safari Ltd Utyrannus, the Schleich Diabloceratops, and Collect Day Deluxe Dimetrodon in here for a comparison to further show you again how large this model really is. Definitely quite large, and obviously these figures next to it certainly show you that. And then one final comparison. We've basically been giving off just comparisons with the randoms and stuff because, what can you really use to compare with a life-sized model? Not to mention, I don't have any other models of this species in my collection to really compare with it. But we have a Mattel Dilophosaurus and Velociraptor here, again, for one final comparison, just to further iron out the fact that at 1-to-1 scale, even if it is a small species of dinosaur, it's still a very large model. So this 1-to-1 scale version of the Anchiornis from Limelight Miniatures is absolutely incredible and undoubtedly one of the coolest models that I have in my collection. It is just so cool to actually have a full-sized version of this dinosaur in my collection, and something that I will definitely display and cherish for years. And of course, this is the type of stuff, not just this, like there are other life-size models in the line as well that you can purchase right now on the Kickstarter from Limelight Miniatures. And it's not often that we get 1-to-1 scale models of pretty much anything, and of course it's also not often that we have species small enough to get a 1-to-1 scale model of, so I really feel like this is something that is definitely worth purchasing just based on that alone. But of course, in the process, you get to help a brand new company kind of get up off the ground and get some models out, which is also really cool. But you can see the entire thing, again, on top of looking incredible sculpt-wise, is also just beautiful when it comes to the presentation. They've done a very good job of adding in a really cool base with a nice earthy texture looking very lifelike and realistic, and then that kind of underside to it with the nameplate on the front really seals the deal, I think, as far as the museum quality feel to this. Definitely looks like the type of model you would see in a museum museum. But again, as far as the Anchiornis itself, the sculpt is phenomenal. All the feather detail is incredible, whether it's the nice finer feather detail you see up in the face or the more impressive plumage leading out into the, wings and the tail feathers and stuff. It's all incredible, and I love how realistically sculpted it is, with so much difference when it comes to the positioning of the feathers, and the feathers like legitimately kind of pop off of the sculpt, making it look even more realistic. Again, this model would arrive unpainted, and it would arrive unbuilt, which is a good thing because, again, with mine traveling built already, it was a little bit sketchy, a little bit dangerous, which caused a small break, which I was able to, patch up and make disappear as best I could in the final finished product. But it's probably easier to just have it shipped to you fully unbuilt and everything and unassembled so that you can build it up and, of course, paint it yourself. But once it's actually finished, again, it is absolutely an incredible model. Definitely a head turner and a showstopper, I would say, as far as this model goes. Certainly the centerpiece of any collection if you acquire a 1-to-1 scale model of a dinosaur. So if you are interested in picking this up for yourself, you can check the link that I will include in the description to go head on over and check out the Kickstarter right now for Limelight Miniatures to acquire this, and again, all of the other incredible models that they have up there, because there is a lot of really cool stuff, more of which you will see up here on my channel very soon. Make sure you again take part in that, grab yourself some of this awesome stuff before the Kickstarter ends, and also like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.